Welcome to the Eclectic Gamers Podcast. Today is Sunday, June 27th. This is episode 144.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Tony.
I'm Dennis.
There's a weird pause in there because I was looking back up the 144 thing because I was remembering when we had the misnumbered episode, several episodes ago and everything. So I was just kind of staring at the notes for a second. I'm like, oh wait, I'm supposed to introduce myself. Oops.
Those were the dark times.
The dark times of like a month ago.
Yes. So what's been going on since not for the whole month, but the last couple of weeks? Yeah.
For the last couple of weeks, the last of my expected retirements at work have happened. So we are in the joy of hunting for new employees and being shorthanded because it's the summer and everybody's going on vacation and stuff like that. So things have gotten crazy, but expected crazy. So it's not like, it's like, oh no, we knew it was coming. It's just, it's one of those things that's like, I knew it was coming, but it didn't seem real. Because I'm talking about people who've been there for 37 years.
Mm-hmm. They got to retire at some point.
Years. And it's like, it's the last day and they're gathering everything up and leaving. It's like,
get out of here.
It's weird now. So, I'm working on that. Which has directly translated to the most common thing for me to do after work when I get home. Yeah, I fall asleep on the couch. I've been falling asleep on the couch. About half this week I fell asleep on the couch. Not as bad as a couple weeks ago, but yeah. But I have been playing still Final Fantasy 14. Mm-hmm. Blah, blah, blah. Greatest MMO, blah, blah,
of
blah.
all time.
I
saw a headline. I didn't read the article, but I saw a headline that was saying, Blizzard better take notes and pay attention because Final Fantasy 14 is a threat to World of Warcraft.
Well, Final Fantasy 14, according to a lot of stuff now, has taken over and is now the number one MMO. So
that's because of the dual cast that Red Mage gets.
Dual cast Red Mage. I think it's more because of the enormous free trial and everything you can do. So it gets people hooked and then they start actually paying for it. But no, Red Mage does. I've completely abandoned my old the class I started with because since you can change classes at will, I found I like playing Red Mage a lot more once I unlocked Red Mage. So now I've just been playing Red Mage. But that game I'm still having fun with it. So that's good. I'm glad I got in on that sale and picked up everything with that 50 some odd % off sale they had back at the beginning of June. So, that helped offset the fact that it's expensive. That'll buy me at least 2 months of game time with what I saved off just buying it straight. I haven't even actually purchased game time yet because you get a free month and I still have, I still have 18 days left in my free month before I have to actually pay for a month. So, but I never thought I'd be paying for monthly MMO fees again. But here we are.
Yep. There you go.
Here I am.
Well, there are worse things to spend all the money on.
There are. Like what?
Drugs and stuff.
Drugs
and stuff. Drugs and stuff.
Drugs bad. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Wow, I have not seen South Park in a long time. Speaking of South Park, I've been playing Gears 5 still.
Yeah. It's like how does that segue?
It's the South Park of all the Gears games. Because I'm like in this winter wonderland, and they always seem to have a lot of snow out in the Colorado South Park.
Yeah.
So I'm off like it's
and
like
you've modded it so your partner is Mr. Hanky.
No.
He's like, hi, Chainsaw Bandit.
Grind.
They're coming through the walls.
Oh gosh. Okay. So anyway, I'm still working on that. I played a little bit of it yesterday for about an hour or so, but I've been busy with work stuff, so I've mostly been sitting and either watching real-time police cams on YouTube, mostly of drunk stops, because I like to watch them struggle with the test. And it's, you always think that it's like they can't walk on the line, and in reality, it's they can't ever remember the instructions, and they're constantly, and they're so focused on getting like their footing right that they don't realize like they're screwing up how many steps they were supposed to take, and they keep asking, and they can't keep their hands to their sides, and they're told to follow the light with their eyes, and they move their head, and they're very and then they're trying to be super sweet until they get cuffed, and then they get mean,
and then they get mean.
So there's that. Hoarding shows.
Hoarding shows are always an excellent.
And it's so weird. I guess these must be later season ones, because now they're like they're just like, we failed. We couldn't stop them. They're probably dead now. So stuff. I'm like, yes, make it bleak. The only problem is I have to do those in short bursts, or else I feel the urge to have to clean something to prove to myself that I'm not a hoarder.
Right.
So, and the last season of Bosch just came out, so I started that late last night. And I'm probably about halfway through. Yeah, I'm halfway through at this stage. So, because I think it's only 8 episodes, but
right.
Because I used to read those books, some of them at least. So, anyway, so that's what I've been up to. So now we are up to we're gonna have a lot of E3 stuff, as we warned everyone, because we only had E2.5 really.
Yeah, we had the lightweights.
We actually finished the recording and then went and started to watch E3 coverage right after.
Yeah,
but now that's all done. But before that, we do have one pinball topic. There's yet another game that has been announced. So, this is Silver Falls. It always makes me... Did you ever play Alan Wake?
I did.
Okay.
That was
do you remember the little TV things where you'd be able to watch Night Falls?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think of when I hear Silver Falls. It's like, welcome to... sort of, for those that don't know, it's sort of like a Twilight Zone. So, welcome to Silver Falls, where things are not as they appear. Everything that glitters as gold is actually just silver, except for, strangely, 24-karat wrapped foil toppers. And I said we weren't even going to bring that up.
And you brought it up anyway.
I did anyway, because I'm a liar.
Don't touch it.
Don't touch it. Don't clean it.
You rubbed the stuff off.
Oh, I didn't think it through. So sorry. All right. So, this is a game by Nick Baldridge that he did in collaboration with his daughter. Mm-hmm. This is a P3 game. I have a link to the games. He's got a website for the game on the internet, which is where websites usually are.
Typically.
Yes. So if you go to our links section in our show notes, you'll be able to go and read up all about it. But just some really quick summary stuff. The game is described as a pinball simulation where you choose an avatar and you're spending points that you earn while playing to improve your home while meeting the needs of the avatar. And I believe once you meet the needs of the avatar, you move to the next level. So you make progress. The big thing that's been getting a lot of buzz online has been that the soundtrack is done by Scott Danesi, who is, of course, well known for designing both Rick and Morty and Total Nuclear Annihilation for Spooky Pinball and doing the soundtracks for those games. This is a genre I don't know, though. It's described as chill hop. Do you know chill hop? I've not gone and even heard it.
I'm assuming that it's like there's on YouTube. I'm assuming it's similar to all the channels that have just like chill music that are kind of
lo-fi.
Yeah, like the lo-fi. I'm assuming
they're playing
it's like
lo-fi with Overwatch League now. I'm like,
oh yeah,
what is this lo-fi?
It's
not bad. I'm just like, but it doesn't have anything to do with the game.
Yeah, they're pretty common. I mean, I have listened to several of them. I'm a big fan of Critical Role. Obviously, I've talked about it before, and they put out. Last year, they put out a bunch of lo-fi things that they played during the pandemic and everything. That was just a scene, just like the lo-fi girl that's all over YouTube and everywhere. So I don't know. It's maybe something like that. I don't understand. I mean, like I know what chap hop is, but this is most definitely not that.
Okay. Well, it was new to me, but whatever. So anyway, and I don't know if chill hop's the same or not.
I don't know.
It says chill.
I
just thought it was like
I haven't looked it up.
Low key sock hop.
No, I think
I'm right.
I think you're very wrong.
Pop, pop,
I think you're very wrong.
I hope I'm right. I hope I am very right. And Scott will write. I'm sure he's listening avidly, and he's like, Dennis is so right. He probably pioneered chill hop and didn't even know it. It's probably being said.
in your head. You're saying it right now.
They're probably saying it in
the about the only
they're
people
probably
saying
it in the Multimorphic factory right now.
I doubt it. Okay. Because they don't know because we haven't even like finished recording.
They can feel it.
They can feel it
in their bones.
They can feel it. They get the time travel.
It's the same way
of the podcast.
It doesn't have anything to do with time. It's the same way all the P3 owners know in their bones before we even release an episode if we're not going to give adequate coverage to the platform and write in to complain. It's the same. It's like that.
It's like a hive.
It's a sixth sense. It's a sixth sense. Yeah. I don't think it's a hive. I just think it's a sense. A sixth one because we have another 5 that all mortals have.
I sense a disturbance.
Except, I shouldn't say that because there are people who are blind and there are people who can't taste things. So I guess we don't all have all 5. But regardless, the game has team play according to the website, so that's nice. And it's supposed to go on sale tomorrow. That would be Monday, June 28th, 2021 at 8 p.m. Eastern. I believe Buffalo Pinball's Twitch channel will be streaming the game. So that will be the first look for most. And the game is $150. But as we have to note, you have to have the P3 platform to run the game, and you have to have the heist module because it's specific to that module.
Right.
So those are additional high dollar purchases that you would need to be able to buy this relatively low cost game by comparison. So, Tony, obviously we haven't seen the game yet. We're only giving announcements about it. I guess the only thing I would really discuss about this is sort of the thing that comes up anytime we talk about P3 and there being a new module or a new downloadable game or really just anything that or a new feature that's incorporated is, so does this move the needle, air quoting, does this move the needle and get them the sales that they want?
No, I don't think it does. I think it's an interesting idea, and I think it's one of the things that will, if anything is ever going to move the needle on P3, it's having this ability, like we've talked about in the past, to use modules you already have to play different games. That's what's going to do it. I don't think the library is deep enough yet, and I think that the cost to get into it isn't to a point yet where you'll start seeing more of it happen.
Yeah, I mean, this is obviously, I think, an attractive, I think that people who already have heist most likely will end up buying this.
It makes sense.
Because everyone who's on P3 in my view has already bought into the concept that this all revolves around, which is you own the platform and then at a lower cost than traditional pinball, you can add more and more stuff to it. And the big issue has been, in my view, the speed at which the new stuff has been coming out. And I guess I'm going to loosely say the quality, but I don't mean like the build quality and stuff, but this gets more into the whole realm of licensors and just like what people expect versus their, okay, well, am I going to pay $3,000 or $2,500 for this new module, or would I rather pay $5,500 and get Turtles? Yeah.
Right. And that's,
or Avengers, or that's the thing. And
I think if you're bought into the platform, it's a no-brainer.
Sure. Oh yeah. At $150, I mean, I can't imagine not.
Right. I mean, that's
less than a topper.
Well, it's not less than a topper anymore. There are games less than toppers.
That's fair. That's fair. That's very fair.
Even with how prices have gone in pinball lately, there are games cheaper than toppers.
But there are still a few. They're EMs, but they exist.
They exist. But I think if you're already in the platform, it's a no-brainer. Why wouldn't you?
Right.
That's just the problem, is getting enough people on the platform that we start getting more and more development. It's kind of like an avalanche that starts slowly rolling as it builds and builds and builds. And it's entirely possible we'll hit a point where it reaches a critical mass and just goes, and we start seeing it become more common.
Do you think so? It's been years.
I think it's possible. Do I think it's going to happen? We'll see. I think it'd be much more likely if, say, the lumber prices stayed where they were, but the futures are already coming down. Prices are already starting to drop.
That's a good point, because that's been helping make whereas this game is much more electronic in its screen and all that. We have been seeing traditional pinball prices go up while the P3 has held, which has been good for P3.
It's very good for P3. And I think it's something that I don't think it's going to ever be huge, but I think it could very well hit that point where there are still a lot of things being developed for it, comparatively, just because there'll be enough people out there to support it, considering maybe not a ton of new modules, but a lot of things that utilize the existing modules, much like this utilizes the heist module.
Right. I mean, I think we'll see some third-party development on modules. I don't think it'll ever be a lot. There's not enough critical. Who would want to invest? That's the issue. Outside of a passion project, I think we're still at a point where Multimorphic needs to be doing the modules because there's just not a big enough market for a lot of people to want to go and do a design to sell, a couple dozen mods. I don't even know what share they get. It all gets complicated.
It does.
This is getting into the market stuff that we don't know. I think you're right. I think that if the next official P3 game, which I believe has also got Scott Danesi on music, so that's kind of interesting. Is supposed to be licensed, and that's the big. To me, that's the big thing that might help
with the right license. That could be huge.
Right now, the part of the thing is the appeal of P3, of course, and we've touched on this before, so I don't want to go ad nauseum about it, but it's also like its biggest detriment, and that is all the traditional pinball machines, because they're so standalone. When you're done with it, you sell it on.
Right.
With P3, it's an all or nothing, obviously, because I can't keep the heist module without the P3 and play the heist module. So if you're getting tired of it and you need the space and all the Lexis and Cosmic Carnivals or Cosmic Kart Racing, not Cosmic Carnival. let me not stick that on.
Yeah,
no. All those in the world though are not the same as a Guns N' Roses and a Mandalorian and a Led Zeppelin. You see,
right? But and as we've talked in the past, when you sell it with your modules, the new owner doesn't get the extras.
Right, like these downloadables have to be rebought. Granted, they're relatively low price so far.
Right.
So it's not the biggest barrier in the world, but because of the need of the P3, of course, being the attractiveness of look at all the savings that you get buying these modules and games. It's like, how many people can you sell your heist module to that didn't already buy one, go direct to.
Right. And why would.
It's hard to get out of it without getting all the way out of it. You can't take a module that you can. I understand you can technically, but practically, you can't find someone to buy your Lexi module.
Yeah. Because why would they buy the module from you? They've already bought into this system. Mm-hmm. They support P3. Why would they give you the money instead of giving P3 the money?
And the model for Multimorphic is not to encourage selling modules amongst each other. And I wouldn't do it that way either.
No.
It's not that they made a bad decision. It's just the nature of this approach puts it in a position that is unattractive, I think, to a lot of people who traditionally buy pinball because they're used to everything being, I want a game, I get it. When I don't want the game, I easily get rid of it. And here you've got, it's all integrated. So it's just a big struggle. Highway, had they been able to pull off what they wanted, would have had a similar issue with their, oh, well, let's see, I want to get rid of the Full Throttle, but I want to keep it. Nope, you got to get rid of the whole thing because you only bought one cabinet. Yeah. And who are you going to be able to just sell the playfield to of Full Throttle? No one. Because it's just, that's the thing. So
no, and that's where the problem is on this type of thing. Now I could see where it might work with like a co-op type thing where maybe you and a couple friends each have a P3. So maybe you'll buy the heist module and I'll buy the kart racing module. And every once in a while we'll trade them back and forth because we want to just change something up. But otherwise, you're pretty much going to be buying just everything for yourself.
Well, and that's where, of course, they've got it set up so that the price on those individual modules from Multimorphic is so attractive compared to the traditional new game. Because, I get it. It's just, that's where I think it falls down in regards to the traditional pinball market. It seems much more oriented to a new market, but it's clearly not found that new market in terms of the volume that I think they were hoping for.
Right.
And as we noted the last time when we talked about Heist and the multi-ball, like that, that's not going to get you sticking in like 14 multi-ball is not. A gimmick isn't going to win over the pinheads.
No, the thing that's going to work best.
The license thing is their best bet.
The license thing with the right license will be huge. Also, the fact that pinball is a niche hobby. It's a niche hobby that attracts people with a lot of disposable income. And it's a niche hobby that attracts people who aren't unknown to have giant passion projects where they just pour everything out into something. And those are the exact type of people that P3 actually needs. That's the type of person that I think will move them forward the best and have the best chances for the expansion. And like I said, it's pinball. Those type of people are fairly prevalent in pinball compared to video games or other things, where they still have people who are deep into that kind of thing, but it's not the core, because they tend to have a larger overall audience.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, like, for example, I think it would be mighty tempting if I wanted to develop a game to do it on P3.
Yeah.
It solves so many issues. It's just like I can use an existing module. There's the whole, like, I'm not messing around making cabinets and all of that. But if I wanted to commercial, like if I thought, well, I could be the next Scott Denisi and do a TNA and build, like, the market, the audience for it currently is not big. So would I sell 550 TNAs that have been built on P3? No, I would not.
Right. I think where we run.
But who does that? But how many people are in that boat?
Right.
Like, even Scott didn't expect TNA to become what it became.
Yeah. And then we run into the issue is, like with many homebrewers and homebrews overall, is that a lot of people, when they homebrew something, they create it for themselves, maybe a few friends, and it's almost always a licensed title that they don't actually have a license for, which won't work in this thing because it's got to be held on a server somewhere where it can be purchased and downloaded.
Right.
So it doesn't help out for people who are looking to do that kind of homebrew design.
Yeah, it would be, and even saying aside the homebrew, that's one of the, unfortunately, I think, it's one of the biggest problems with the downloadable scape. Most of the downloadable folks, people that might make a Ranger in the Ruins or a Silver Falls or whatever, like, probably aren't going to be inclined to do anything other than an original, just because how many standalone individuals are equipped to deal with the licensing department?
Right.
Or will Multimorphic deal with it for them? Probably not. I don't know, though.
I wouldn't think so.
But clearly, we've never seen them do anything licensed before. We know Multimorphic is, and that, as again, smart move, makes sense, should have happened years ago.
If you've got the right license.
Well, of course, but baby steps. Baby steps. It was even as bad of a license as I thought it was. Hot Wheels was still a smarter move than like all the other moves American Pinball had been doing.
Very true.
So, even a dog of a license is probably better than original. As sad as that is to say, and as hard as it is for some people to hear, it's just because there's someone out there that just absolutely loved Hot Time Machine and was just waiting.
Somebody
is a take my money, is a take my money, and that's the whole thing. Is because the thing with the trick with the license is the game doesn't have to be good. You'll get the sale,
right? And
remember, the goal is the sale. The goal isn't to make people happy. The goal is the sale. Who cares what they do afterwards? In a way, because that's an all other thing. Is obviously when P3 announces its license, we'll need to see how good of a license that is. And then, of course, people will also eventually, depending on the excitement of the hype of it, is going to be judging what the module's like and how good is the game. Because that does ultimately come up.
Right.
I know people that would probably own... I definitely know people that were going to buy Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles regardless if it sucked.
Right.
Now, would they have kept it? That's another... But again... The main goal is to get sale. After that,
well, we need to go with the obvious.
whatever.
Ancient world, Vikings, stuff like that. That's super popular. So obviously it's going to be Hagar the Horrible, the video or the pinball machine. Because, that's a comic strip that died. Did that comic strip die? I don't know.
I think it died in terms of quality long ago.
Yeah. Or Garfield, the pinball machine.
Oh, Garfield. No, don't do Garfield. Do Heathcliff if you're going to do a cat. Do Heathcliff. Anyway, but congratulations to Nick and congratulations to Multimorphic. And I don't know if I'll be able to catch the live stream, but I do look forward to at least looking at the VOD and seeing about it, and hopefully getting a chance to play this at a show, because I still need to try Ranger in the Ruins.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to try that, or Heist.
Yeah, pandemic screwed everything up on that, but
everything's screwed.
Yes. Well, but what isn't screwed is our massive video game content, Tony.
Yeah, there's a pretty large chunk of it, and even saying that, this is not anywhere near everything. This is just the stuff that jumped out that was worth, I thought, talking about.
Okay.
And maybe a few extra things that probably aren't actually worth talking about.
Well, I'll let you know if anything stands out to me that you missed.
Okay.
I'll be judgmental. Don't worry.
That's fine. That's perfectly acceptable to be judgmental. We're going to open up with the one that we watched immediately after recording the last episode, the Xbox show.
With Bethesda.
Obviously, they won E3, and it's really easy to do when there's no actual competition.
Some people think Nintendo won E3.
So, you know what? I can't say that. This is a family-friendly show.
All right, so you sound like a what's that meme with the Bugs Bunny? No. Yeah. You sound like a no.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So Xbox.
Starfield. They opened with Starfield.
Did you see the thing where someone changed Starfield to Garfield and it was
yes, in the head.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that was a funny.
I still wish that I hope there's a mod on the PC version for that, so that the moon looks like.
Seeing
Garfield.
as there's a mod for Skyrim where you get to fight Thomas the Tank Engine, I'm sure there will be.
The most important mod ever was the one for Fallout. What was it, 4, where what's his name would quit sending you to a new settlement.
That's the greatest mod of all time.
Oh,
Preston, get Preston to leave you
Preston.
Yeah. The Starfield, there was nothing to it.
No, we know a name.
We know a name, which we've known
and we know there's a
for
space.
a while.
We know there's a
and
spaceship.
we know it's exclusive to Xbox and PC.
Yes,
so it's exclusive to Xbox and console.
I have absolutely no hype for this because I can't even tell you what genre of the gameplay is.
The closest I heard it described is like Han Solo Skyrim. Is what I've heard somebody say it as. But let's be honest, there's no gameplay. This thing doesn't exist. It's got a release date in November of 22. So there's a year and a half before this thing. This is not quite as bad as was it 2 years ago when they went ahead and said Elder Scrolls 6.
Right.
We're going to make it someday.
It's weirder here to me because Starfield's not like an existing IP.
Mm-hmm.
So who cares? At least with Elder Scrolls, you're telling the Elder Scrolls fan, don't worry, it's coming. The dragons are coming.
Yeah. You'll eventually get to a point where you won't have to just keep replaying Skyrim on every device ever.
I know. I've thought about upgrading my fridge to getting the screen one so I can play Fridge Scrim. Fridge Scrim.
They showed some interesting looking footage for Stalker 2. I never actually played the original Stalker.
Nor did I.
But I'd always heard it was pretty good. It was just one of those games that it came out in a point when I wasn't doing a ton of gaming like that, and I've never gone back to it.
Right.
They announced, like, with the most no gameplay, no nothing, no frills trailer ever, a co-op open world game called Contraband that deals with smugglers in Southeast Asia in the 70s. I don't know. The fact that there were other games with trailers that we'll talk about later that basically made fun of exactly what they did in this trailer just made it perfect to me.
Mm.
But yeah, the trailer there was nothing there at all. It's like, this game will happen eventually.
Okay, yeah, because I don't actually remember this one.
The only reason I remember it is because it was and I probably wouldn't have remembered it except for the trailer we'll talk about later. That point made it seem so blatantly obvious, but yeah. We got some gameplay and stuff from 12 minutes.
That one looks interesting to me.
Right.
And we'd seen that one teased before.
Yes. Yeah. And it was talked about a little last year. That's the single room, time loop game about a home invasion where a guy and his wife or a guy and his girlfriend are in the room and all this stuff going on. And it's got like voice acting from William Dafoe and Daisy Ridley. So.
Am I the last Skywalker? No. Spider-Man, die. Sorry. I'm trying to think of all these William Dafoe things. They're all mean and evil. I've only ever seen him play a good guy once. And I don't even remember the name of the movie.
It was that unmemorable. Okay, sorry.
It's the crossover. Hey, Disney owns them all. We might see that crossover.
It's entirely possible. It's out now because it came out the day after the trailer dropped. An expansion for Sea of Thieves.
No one cares.
That nobody cares about, but it brings in the obvious thing to bring in. Pirates of the Caribbean. Oh my, the trailer made, the whole trailer and announcement, I gagged a little.
I've tried not to be too harsh about, and I've not played Sea of Thieves. It's just not my type of game. But I just know so many people were, so it's like, hey, look, Rare is out of Kinect prison and can finally do real games again. And then they do that, and it just wasn't what people wanted.
And when I think Sea of Thieves, I always remember that terrible trailer when they made the first announcement before the release. And it was all the people setting and playing and supposedly talking to each other and all their, it's like, I've done raids. I've played with friends. Nobody is this tactical and exacting without cracking jokes. And it was so bad. It was so unrealistic.
Yeah, it's sort of like when they do the fake smack talk in fighting games for E3s of yesteryear. Yes.
Yeah. Psychonauts 2.
I've never played a Psychonauts.
I've never played Psychonauts.
But it's super popular, so I think that would go over well.
I would call, based upon everything I've heard and people talk about it, they consider it a modern classic. Mm. And I've seen people super excited for the sequel for several years now because it's been out there as a thing for a long time. Well, it's finally coming out in August. Will it live up to the hype? No, God, no. They never do. But maybe people enjoy it. Hades, a game I've spoken
Speaking
about
of
a lot,
another modern classic,
is finally coming out on something other than PC.
Yeah, I might play it now.
Switch, because it's coming to Xbox Game Pass. It's coming to all the PlayStations. Play it. I think Hades was the best game of last year that I played. It was incredibly fun. The trailer we were talking about, the announcement trailer for Outer Worlds 2.
I really liked Outer Worlds. It was so much fun.
Outer Worlds was a ton of fun. Outer Worlds 2, they pulled the fun into the trailer because they full on had it going with the stuff's happening. It's like, here's things that probably won't be in the game and stuff. And there's no gameplay here. And here's a generic silhouette of what the main character looks like because we haven't even started designing them yet. And here's we have no idea who the bad guys are, but this game's coming. I mean, that was funny. That's what made me think about the like the Contraband Band and some of the other trailers we ended up seeing is because it just basically took the whole thing and went like, yeah.
Yep. But still, even with saying all the humor aside, that sort of tease at least makes a little sense because there was an Outer Worlds and people liked it. So letting us know that there's another one coming some point was still exciting.
Yes, it was. They gave an actual halfway decent look at Halo Infinite, the Xbox Series XS launch title that is still not out. How long are we from launch?
Oh gosh, we're half a year at least.
But they're saying it's due out holiday of 21, so maybe We'll see what happens.
It'll be a fun New Year's Eve.
It'll be, yeah. Martin Luther King Day is still holiday at 21, right? Oh, wait, no. So, we'll see what happens. I don't know. Halo games are fun.
Yeah, I mean, I still need to finish the last one was the thing. The campaign. I didn't get through it, and I didn't like what they did, but I mean, the gameplay was still good. It was just, the story was so weird. You've not played it. So they split between different groups, and it's just sort of, it just isn't what I wanted. And apparently it wasn't what a lot of people wanted. Like, the multiplayer very popular, but that campaign was not good for 343. And
yeah.
So it wasn't Master Chief centric enough is the issue. And that's what people expect out of most Halos.
Yeah.
Now, there have been good
ODST is my favorite Halo.
Sure. Reach was very popular as well and is not a Master Chief focused thing.
Yeah.
I think the problem there was they use Master Chief as off and on. And it's weird. Anyway.
Yeah, because I say my favorite Halo is ODST.
Yeah, so, it's really good. They
announced another sequel, Age of Empires 4.
Yeah.
I mean, Age of Empires 2 was great. Age of Empires 3 wasn't. Age of Empires 4, okay. I don't know if we'll see. That's all I can say is we'll see.
It looked okay.
It looked like an Age of Empires game.
Yeah. Well, they had a cartoony one for games for Windows Live that I played a bit of, which the gameplay was all right, but it was weird. It was like really stripped down is how it felt.
Yeah. Well, like it was initially designed as a mobile game?
No, I think the stripped downedness of it was because it's like there was the base vanilla game, and then they were trying to get, like, you had to buy additional civilizations and stuff. Like it was a la carte style.
Wow. It's like the train conductor game where it comes with like one train and you can buy other trains, and if you look at the thing, it's actually the buy all for that game is the most expensive thing on Steam, and it's like $27,000.
I've heard of that. Yes. It was like that, but not the most expensive.
Right. Left 4 Dead 3. Back for Blood.
Oh, yes. Well, it looked like Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, well, it's made by the Left 4 Dead people who left Steam. So, and that's good. I mean, I liked Left 4 Dead. Unfortunately, since E3, it has come out that this game will be always online, even if you're playing by yourself with AI players on your console.
Why?
Because they hate making money. Because I've seen a lot of hard passes on this game now because the always online thing has been found in the past that people don't like it. And once it stops making enough money, the servers shut down and suddenly people have games that they can't even play by themselves.
Yeah, now that part, I do sympathize with that because it's just annoying to think. It's like, well, but I'm not buying a game that's only for online play. So why is it sunset and I can't play it anymore?
Right.
But
I mean, that's a game that you should be able to play, you know, with friends, couch co-op or however. So, yeah, we'll see if they repair that or not. Supposedly, they're looking at changing the online-only requirements, which translates to, oh, wow, this feedback is really bad. We should probably say something. Somerville is an interesting-looking little... It was kind of came off of as a side scroller, but it was that was the apocalypse, the sci-fi apocalypse where you're like the family, where it's like the dad and the mom.
Yeah,
and
that
the
was
kid.
That was sort of interesting.
Yeah, the trailer looked interesting, so I'm kind of interested to see how that actually looks. Looking at my only issue is I like the idea. Looking at the gameplay, it doesn't really look like my type of game. But I like the whole concept I enjoyed. We'll see how that turns out.
It kind of looked to me like a Limbo.
Yeah.
Or Inside, which I did enjoy playing. It's a little wonky at first, but
I'm pretty sure the guy who did those two did this one.
Oh, okay.
If I remember reading right, he's the one who did
so if it's like that, it'll end up being basically sort of a puzzle game.
Yeah.
We'll see. I liked those.
Of course, they announced that Diablo 2 Resurrected is coming to the Xbox and all that stuff. I like the concept of Diablo 2 Resurrected. I really do. But Warcraft 3 Reforged bombed hard.
Yeah.
Did they learn anything? That's the question. We'll find out. Microsoft Flight Simulator is coming to Xbox. I find it weird to take a game that's the whole point of the game is just how simulator it gets and just how granular it gets and putting it on a controller.
A lot of people like to fly with flight sticks.
It's weird to me, but we'll see how it does. They are getting a Top Gun crossover because Microsoft Flight Simulator didn't have enough Tom Cruise in it. There's a Forza game coming out.
Yeah, okay. We knew that. We knew that.
Of course, we knew that. The world hasn't ended. There's a Forza game coming. And the last thing they showed was Redfall, which is like a co-op anti-vampire hunting game, open world game. I thought it looked pretty cool.
Yeah, I wished I'd gotten a little bit better feel about how it all works exactly, but I enjoyed the presentation.
I thought the presentation was good, but yeah, like you, it's one of those where it felt like they mixed the trailer.
Yeah, like trailer and gameplay. I mean, there was some gameplay, so it's just like, yeah, I can't really tell where. Like, I'm sure there's not this many cutscenes when we're actually playing it, though.
Yeah, but it had. But I'm interested. I'm interested.
Teak or mahogany?
Mahogany. Okay. Square had their thing. Guardians of the Galaxy.
That looked okay.
Yeah, it looked like
it looked funny.
It looked funny, which a Guardians of the Galaxy game needs to be. Mm-hmm. Most importantly, is it's single player with no DLC, no microtransactions, and hopefully it'll do better than Avengers.
And if not, you will definitely bring it up.
I will,
as you love to talk about Avengers.
Avengers is just one of those live games that failed so horribly.
Oh, hey, didn't they show some stuff for Avengers?
They did, but I don't.
Don't you want to talk about it? No, I don't see it in your notes.
It's not in my notes because I don't care. They showed Black Panther and they talked about some other. I don't care. They're gonna keep limping that thing along, trying to recoup their enormous costs.
I want you to. I would like if you would start to care.
Sorry, I don't.
Okay,
not about that. Now, for something I do care about, Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster.
Pixel Remaster,
which is a collection of the first 6 Final Fantasy games in all of their pixel glory.
I'm trying to think if I've played them all or not. I have played but not finished 1. I cannot recall if I played 2. I've played US 2,
which is 3 or 4. It's 4, which is 4.
I don't know if I've done 4 or 3. And I've played and beat 5 and 6.
I've beaten 1, 4, and 6. I've played 5. But yeah, the Japanese 2 and 3, I don't.
Yeah, I don't think I have.
I don't think I have. Because for a while they were available, like they had them on like phones.
Yeah,
because I played. That's where I was playing 5 on a mobile port of 5.
I had 5 and 6 on PS1.
Yeah,
and 4, I believe, as well. But I don't think I finished it. I think I got to Moon again, and quit playing. Stupid Moon! I always get tilted. Tides go in, the tides go out. Like, quit causing tides, stupid Moon. So yes, so that's pretty exciting because those are fun. At least the ones I finished were. Right.
Well, and 6 is considered a classic.
Oh yeah, I mean everyone loves Kefka. Some say he's the greatest villain. You know, there's a debate with for those that don't know, there's a debate amongst old school Final Fantasy fans whether 6 or 7 is actually the best Final Fantasy.
I know I have my opinion.
Mm-hmm. There are a lot of people that feel that there's just almost like a snobbishness in a way. I'm gonna say like I actually favor 7, but I think a lot of people just. There's some stuff about the writing in 6 that's really strong, but
yes.
But that being said, I really, really, really liked 7. And in a way, we saw the same thing with Fallout when 3 came out. And there were some that are like, "You have betrayed us. You changed the genre of the gameplay." And
I thought it worked.
And I did, yes. And I thought it worked in Fallout, and I thought it worked here too.
Yeah.
And it's like some people.
I think I prefer 7, but I will admit that part of that is because. The materia system in 7 is like my favorite
It's neat. It's neat.
Fantasy.
And actually, while I like the writing and story better in 6 than 5, I actually liked how 5 handled the character stuff better.
Right.
Like how you could do the party building and stuff. That's anyway. They're all 3 of those. 5, 6, and 7 are all good.
Yeah, so. They're all good. We're not saying, oh, this is a terrible. Yeah. They're all good games. They're just strong in different ways. I said, I mean, the materia system, just like some people, for whatever reason that I'll never understand, love 8 with its draw system. 8's so terrible.
And the kid, and the guy who eats all the hot dogs. Yeah, that's dumb.
Now, I was a huge fan of 9. 9 was not a popular Final Fantasy, but I really enjoyed 9. Where I wasn't a fan of 10, though some people loved 10. So
I didn't play 10 either.
Yeah. You wore hot pants and swam in a ball.
I played 13. Water. It was okay once you got past. I mean, it was so linear, which really annoyed people.
Right.
But the gameplay was okay. Anyway.
Yeah.
And then there's one with the bros in a car. That's okay too.
Yeah. Bros in a car.
I didn't love it like everyone.
Road trip.
I actually didn't like the combat in that one as much. I never really felt like they tutorialed me properly.
Yeah.
But I somehow muddled through it, so whatever.
And they also announced Final Fantasy Origin Stranger of Paradise, which is a action RPG in the Final Fantasy realm, done by Team Ninja.
Yeah, did you like how everyone looked?
No. Oh man, it was so bad. It's like, here are these characters with just scream Final Fantasy. And then here's the main character and he's in jeans and a polo. All these other people have these weird clothes or massive silly armor, and then it's like, it's business casual day at work. Give me my giant sword. Let's get the day going.
Devil May Final Fantasy.
I mean, we'll see. There is a demo available for it on PS5. It was broken at first, and they fixed it, and the reviews still are kind of but the game's not due out till 22, so we'll see what happens. But, Square having a good idea and then just crapping the bed is not unheard of.
Right. See Avengers.
Yeah, see Avengers. Just a couple other miscellaneous things that came out like during the PC show or some of the other little things was Orcs Must Die 3. It's finished its Stadia exclusivity, so people are actually going to play.
Oh, they had an exclusive
for 1 year.
I'm glad I never actually said Stadia has no exclusives because I thought they didn't have any.
No, they had
the hit licensed game Orcs Must Die 3.
They had Orcs Must Die 3 as an exclusive for a year. The Orcs Must Die series, if you've not played it,
I think I've played one and it was fun. So I don't want to make fun of it too much.
Yeah, I've played 1 and 2 extensively. They're a fun little tower defense game. They're really enjoyable. So I like the concept of the third one coming out.
And now it will be played.
Actually play it. Let's see. I crapped on Stadia. I crapped on Avengers. Is there anything else I've been crapping on lately for people to complain about that I need to bring up?
Well, you did crap on Contraband pretty heavily
a little bit ago. But I mean, that's just the concept is. We'll see. It could turn out to be a game of the year. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. Niantic, creators of Pokemon Go. Their original Ingress, which is, I actually started playing Ingress long before they announced Pokemon Go.
I don't know if you discussed it much on the podcast, but
yeah, because that was like before the podcast.
Yeah, that might be it. I forget we haven't actually been doing this forever.
Yeah, because I stopped playing it before the podcast.
Okay, that would explain why you didn't cover it.
Yeah, and I've not played it in years. I've not played Pokemon Go in years, but I've heard about it because I know people who do.
Pikachu.
And they do the Harry Potter Wizards United game.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that one.
But now they're putting together a Transformers game. So I probably won't play it either. I don't.
Maybe you'll play it for a little bit.
Maybe for a little bit. I've kind of lost my taste for that kind of game. Though, I mean, there's still some people out there who hardcore, especially Pokemon Go.
I still usually log in and spin my Pokestop.
Well, yeah, but you've got a Pokestop literally in your front yard.
Yeah, I am the Poke.
It's like,
yeah, like, guess I get my 7-day bonus.
Yeah. And then Nintendo.
Nintendo, people
People think
the winners of E3, maybe.
According to some people,
winners.
They're. I mean, don't get me wrong. Nintendo had a strong showing.
Yeah, so much strength.
They needed a strong showing.
Why? Why do they need one? They're Nintendo. They always.
That's true. They're Nintendo. They're going to win no matter what. But it didn't hurt them to have an actual strong lineup showing at an E3 for once.
The main thing, I know going in, a lot of people were really expecting that there was going to be an announcement of a new Switch
right
before even this was to happen. And then there has been no announcement of a new Switch.
It's weird. I mean, the rumor mill there was enough talk in the rumor mill, I thought it was a real thing. And it could still be a real thing, but nothing happened that was expected.
But, I mean, Metroid happened.
Metroid happened. Metroid 5 or Dread, because they named it both in the trailer for it. It launches in October, and it's a side-scrolling Metroid, which means I might actually like it.
Some of you think that Ripley is the Metroid. I'm the Metroid. Hot shot.
Now that would be the game right there. I never really liked the Prime style Metroid games. I don't hate them. I don't think Metroid transitioned as well to first person as like Fallout did. So having it being back to a side scroller, I think will be a really good thing. I'm not going to play it. I don't have a Switch anymore.
Yes. You have described how it has been taken.
It has been subsumed by other members of the family. The Super Smash Ultimate, they announced yet another character.
Yeah.
Kazuya from Tekken. And I think they added a Sentient Pot Roast and John Madden are coming.
I want to play as Pot Roast.
We're just getting to the point with Smash Ultimate that I'm waiting to find out that I'm a character.
That'd be fun. That'd be fun. Your Super Ball Ultimate is going to be playing Final Fantasy 14 in the game. It's just like, I'm using Red Mage. What are you talking about?
To be fair,
it would be fun.
Well, I have talked about Final Fantasy 14 a bunch over the last several episodes because I've been playing
Alternative Ultimate. You just rag on Avengers and they kill themselves. They kill themselves.
That's exactly
they jump off the map rather than hear you yet again do a lecture about what's wrong with Square Enix's Avengers game.
I like that. Falcon drops in front of me in my anti-Captain Falcon attack. He's like, "Are you ever going to get your own game again?"
I'm just imagining you like doing the arm gestures from Phoenix, right?
Objection.
Yes, objection. No, you're a Square Enix game. You don't belong here unless you're Final Fantasy 14. Get out of here, Avengers. Take your microtransactions with you. See, that would be fun.
That'd be fun. There's a new WarioWare kind of game.
I haven't played WarioWare in a long time.
I liked it, but they were always fun. Enjoyed all. I've never not enjoyed a WarioWare game, so I'm sure it will be enjoyable. They also announced the remakes of Advanced Wars 1 and 2, which are amazing games. I don't know that they necessarily needed the art style change that it looked like, but that's okay. As long as they keep the gameplay, they're going to be great fun. If somehow somebody from Nintendo happens to be out there, if you want to keep recreating old Game Boy games for the Switch, Golden Sun would be really good because the Golden Sun games were great also. There was, Breath of the Wild trailer,
right,
which
Shiny.
Wasn't a secret. I mean, we've known it was coming. It was pretty. We knew it would be pretty. We'll see how it translates into if it's as popular as Breath of the Wild.
It probably will be. What Zelda game isn't?
It's a Zelda game.
Well, that archery one for Wii, Link's Archery Adventure, wasn't very good.
Right, but I mean, Zelda games are always huge, and Breath of the Wild was super popular. Mm-hmm. I mean, Wind Waker was super popular, and I thought it was the dumbest looking Zelda game ever.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild was because that was like a launch title, so it was a really good way to help sell the Switch.
Right. So, and I think I think the sequel will be huge.
Yes, Breath of the Sea.
They also announced Mario Party Superstars.
Mario Party.
Because some people have friends currently, and they don't want to have friends. So they'll play Mario Party with them.
Sometimes I hear people say they like Mario Party, and I'm always like,
I hear people
have you
say
actually
they
played it competitively?
That's always my... Now, I do have... There is a group I have watched on YouTube who will play Mario Party drunk. Or as a drinking game. Which might be the only way you can enjoy it. And possibly still come out with friends because you're like, I was drunk. I don't remember.
Okay.
It's like watching people play Mario Kart and get drunk while they're playing it, which is also fun.
How would I remember to bring my blue sparks?
That's the problem. See, the thing is Mario Kart's actually enjoyable, and Mario Party's just like the giant.
Well, because so much of Mario Party is like random.
It's completely random. And even if you're doing good,
it's Candyland. It's Candyland. So it's nonsense. It doesn't matter how good of a player you are. It's just nonsense so that kids can win.
Right. And it's got the Bugs Bunny pinball game thing where occasionally you just swap scores.
Yes. The birthday swap score. Oh, that was so fun. Funny the one time.
Yeah.
I guess a couple of things I would touch on separate. What were your thoughts just overall of Devolver?
Oh, I thought the Devolver thing was hilarious. Mm-hmm. And I will probably not play any other games because I almost never do.
Yeah, I don't usually think much of, but yeah, they tend to have one of the more fun, maybe the most fun.
I would think I would say they have the most fun typically.
At E3. So there's that. My low light was Gearbox. I don't know if you watched the Gearbox presentation.
No.
So much of it was about Terry or whoever his name is who runs Gearbox, and he's hanging out about the live action movie version of Borderlands. And it was both not about gaming coupled with the whole vibe to me was here he is trying to leverage his gaming company so that he can rub elbows with Hollywood elite. Like he really wants to be a movie star.
Right.
It seemed all about him. And I'm just like, and so sycophantic. And I thought it was disgusting. It was like everything I hate about ego was just like encapsulated in that. Plus there were outside of like the new Tiny Tina thing, which was already known.
Right.
There wasn't anything that interesting. And when they were talking about their remakes of the Homeworld games, it wasn't just one consistent thing. They kept interspersing it throughout. So it was just disjointed. It was a slop. It was really sloppy. So they were, I felt, the worst. They were the E3 loser.
I mean, Tiny Tina is like an interesting concept. The last Borderlands game was no fun.
I mean, the only other thing, was it already out? Did we cover it last episode? The Ubisoft was that?
We did talk Ubisoft.
Okay,
last episode.
because it felt like I'm like surely we were
with Avatar and Mario Rabbids and Elden Ring. Which after we did talk about that, I saw the greatest thing talking about Elden Ring and how you're going to play Elden Ring and you're going to get to a certain point. And then you have to wait for the DLC to finish the game, and it'll come out in 15 or 20 years.
Mm.
just like the books.
Just like the books. Yeah, I love it when they most accurately mimic the books. Because most of the time people say the book is better. But now you can say they're the same. Well, what is also the same is we have once again reached the end of the podcast episode. So, as we often do, I will say that if you want to reach out to us, you can email us at eclecticgamerspodcast@gmail.com, or you can go to facebook.com/eclecticgamerspodcast and send a message or post there.
Yep. We're available at Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram as eclectic_gamers.
And we will be back in a couple of weeks. We won't have any E3 to talk about because E3 is done. Will there be another pinball reveal? I don't know. Rumor mills are Spooky's announcement is imminent. They've been teasing.
So it could be.
Could be. Also, American Pinball might be close as well. Chicago Gaming.
Right there. It's
Chicago
right
Gaming
on the edge.
Chicago Gaming sounds like it's at least another month out. That's what my sources say.
But would American release, or would they release, or would they push back if Spooky makes an announcement?
It's a interesting question. I would say my guess would be they would still go ahead and do an announcement. I don't think they'd change up their plan. Maybe they should, but I don't think they would, because supposedly they want to release another game, and that's at Expo. So they got to get it in at some point here. I just how much longer can you wait? I'm skeptical they announced two.
I would say 2 games in a year would be amazing.
That's what they want to do. David Fix keeps saying.
Lots of people say they want to release 2 games in a year, and if they're not named Stern, how often does it happen?
That's true. It doesn't.
I mean, they always say about
that's true.
JJP's
been saying it as well, and they don't. So you're right.
What's going to end up happening is one of these days, someone's going to. We're going to have 2 games this year. We released 1 in January and 1 in December.
I'd take it. I'd count
It'd still be 2 games in a year. I'd count it. Of course, then they would end up not releasing a game the following year at all.
Baby steps. Baby steps. Anyway, until next time, my name is Dennis.
I'm Tony.
And I will say goodbye.
See ya.